We now open the floor for an exciting discussion forum. Let me introduce our esteemed facilitators, individuals who are experts in marketing. We have Professor Nalina Besekara, a professor in marketing in the Department of Marketing of the Faculty of Management Studies of the Open University of Sri Lanka. Professor Dushan Jayavickrama, the Dean of the Faculty of Management Studies and Commerce of the University of Sri Jayawardhanapura. Official representative of Kotler Impact in Sri Lanka and Maldives, and the Managing Director, Dio Consultancy and Advisory, Mr. Denzel Pereira. So the discussion will be moderated by Dr. Samantha Ratnaika, a senior lecturer of the Postgraduate Institute of Management, the University of Sri Jayawardhanapura. So dear sirs, our distinguished panelists, this is a warm invitation for you to kindly join us on stage.
Right, so welcome to the panel discussion. So we have about 35 minutes broadly here. I think the context is clear, case is clear, the day, objectives, and the challenging part is three of you have made some speeches. So then we need to figure out how this panel discussion should take place. So may I put the house in order? We'll have like two quick rounds, first two rounds, understanding the bigger picture, and that we can get some questions if time permits from the audience as well, a few areas. Well, starting from what Dr. Anand Singh said, it's the value for money, adding value and value creation. So you are in a value creation now domain. So that's all about marketing and talking about this winning the battle of mind and so on. Put it in the first round. I would like to place these three questions to three members. There's no particular, but I'll start with Professor Nalin. Starting with this bit of a macro, like a big picture. Professor Nalin, now you have come out with this great idea of National Marketing Day. So you have elaborated in your speech, but still audience would like to see that what is the exact the thinking behind this whole concept of coming out with National Marketing Day concept. Would you like to say something about it?
Yeah, Dr. Samantha, I think in 2019 after East attack, so we had a kind of a calculation because tourism that time was on peak by 2019. Unfortunately, we expected 2.5 million tourists in 2019 because of the East attack. Everything been declined, and I have seen in one newspaper article it mentioned Sri Lankan economy on ventilator. This is only after East attack. Then 2020, 2021, we have seen the COVID-19 and all. It has triggered. But anyway, we have to always concern about way out, planning and all. And ultimately, we start to think like in Sri Lanka with COVID-19 and all, we have to always engage with the different sort of thinking. Where as clearly mentioned by Dr. Asankar, now value creation coming with the different perspectives, we want to see what might be the factors affecting for Sri Lanka, because last 7 decades still this country we considered as a developing country. But ultimately in the subject of marketing, I have seen many forums and all, everything been done, but it has been not gone for a grassroots level. Samantha, something like that. Where in cricket 1996 World Cup cricket, we have won the World Cup because Kalvitarana behind the wicket in Sinhala say Ohomaya. So there might be one particular factor which I feel like missing, because the marketing can be considered as a luxury subject, but unfortunately it has been not properly addressed to the grassroots level, because 60 to 70% of Sri Lankan people, especially in the SME sector, only talk Sinhala or Tamil. But by looking at that particular point, and in my considering Professor Kotler can be considered as the father of modern marketing, and also we had a very good dialogue. I have written one article on Kotler versus Inaugural, where in my sabbatical in Canada, I actually sent that to Professor Kotler. Then he appreciated the article, and we had a very good academic dialogue. And even by looking at that, it's a kind of a marketing sort of a perspective. Now we need, Sri Lanka is a country, we have to always concern about something called gratitude. By considering that gratitude factor, then just think about how we are going to market the subject of marketing. So we want to have a kind of a different, we are talking about out of the box scenario. That's why the idea actually came. But idea comes, then we need to have a kind of a reinforcement of the idea, then Department of Marketing, Faculty of Management Studies, and even I talked to the Vice Chancellor and all. So they have given the clear endorsement. Then Densil actually helped us to start to work with that particular idea that can be considered as a triggering point. This economic like kind of a setback of Sri Lanka, and we need to anyway see something way out now. But I have seen that in a different perspective. That might be the initiation, Samantha.
Wonderful. I think that's a good start for us to understand the context. Like probably we can take it further in the second round. Professor, I will come back to that. From there, I like to jump to like Professor Dushan. Now you have two products, as you said, by the side of your left hand, and a couple of members in the audience. And you have seen many undergraduates over the years in your career, you as a dean. Now, would you like to highlight how this Kotler impact to the undergraduates, particularly in that context? Would you like to elaborate a little bit on this?
I think going beyond the undergraduates, how Professor Kotler has had an impact on Sri Lankan higher education sector, particularly those who are studying in the field of business management. Recently, I found one old document in our faculty that was about the first MBA offered by our faculty far back in 1958. Even in that particular brochure, there was a subject called marketing and advertising. Although we now try to have this strong differentiation between advertising and marketing, far back then also we had this subject, and one of the sort of reference books was Kotler's. And then from there onwards, I believe that Sri Lankan business management education has had a significant influence on Kotler's thinking. One can argue, though, that it is very much of global north, Americanization, and marketing as a practice that was developed in a very materialistic culture. But conceptualization of what is marketing, which has long been a practice in organizations, we cannot reject. And that is what he tried to sort of came up in his series of big books written over the years with so much or so many iterations, cultural adaptations. Even to Sri Lanka, as I mentioned before, I got myself exposed to the world, to be honest, through Kotler's eye. Because back then, we did not have any other sources, any other ways or forms of connecting with the global world, although we were meant to be trained to be global business practitioners. We saw the globe, the business world, through Kotler's eye. So that is the level of impact Kotler's book has created in the higher education sector. Going beyond that, from our experience, Professor Dinesh and Professor Nalin and Densil, we all would agree that there was a wonderful job done by one of our former deans, Mr. Jagat Bandarnaik, who now lives in Canada, to bring this idea, who was trained in Canadian American education. He is the one who brought the Kotler sort of recent marketing fraternity into the Sri Lankan higher education sector, and he has done a sort of wonderful work to bring it to the schools level. Now, A-level curriculum of the commerce or business studies subject has about 45 hours long content on marketing, which has so much of influence from Kotler's conceptualization of what is marketing. What is beautiful about Kotler's is that over the years, he has been, I think, the worst critique of what he has written. What Kotler has conceptualized in 1950s, 60s, he himself has questioned in 90s, 17 and 80s. That is how he has written about 5.0 and 3.0. But certain concepts, even today, we are very much appreciative of concepts like prosumer, and some of the ethical and moral aspects of marketing and new business models. Kotler has identified given birth to conceptually in a series of books. So that is the kind of learning process that we also have gone through in the Sri Lankan higher education sector, not kind of limiting our understanding to what is marketing from 1950s. We have been in the Sri Lankan higher education sector, all studies or sort of programs or institutes have also been in line with Kotler's development and different iteration of Kotler's what marketing is about. So that has come into Sri Lankan higher education sector as well.
Professor Dushan, I believe that your real speech you made now, just before the previous one. So anyway, thank you very much for recalling those the yesteryear memories, as well as how the impact has been the vividly unfolding like many years. Thank you very much. I think I want to ask another question, Paul. I'll keep it to the second round. Mr. Densil, Professor Nalin used in his speech one word. You are the conduit between all these the key institutions making them together to make this event a reality. With that light, thinking about this Kotler impact to Sri Lanka, would you like to elaborate about what exactly the context that we are referring here? Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Ratnayaka, thank you very much for the question. A tough question because how to define the conduit. Ever since I was a part of Javadanapura BSc Marketing, I was always looking for something beyond. So I used to go to these sort of forums. I had problems certain times to face exams because I didn't have my attendance 80%. So okay, I think we have Professor Kotler join the session. Okay, shall we all get up and wish him? Professor, hope we can see us.
Yes. Can you hear me?
We can hear you very clear, loud and clear.
Well, I was fascinated listening to some of the conversation that just took place about the fact that the person who seems to attack Kotler's theories is often Kotler. That is true because we are not talking about a fixed thing like economic laws or physical laws. We're talking about man-made assumptions and practices which change. So let me just introduce myself and say that I want to thank all of you for inviting me on this National Marketing Day and to celebrate my 94th birthday. Someone joked recently and said, "You got it backwards. It's really your 49th birthday." And I said, I wish that was true, but you're making a good point because one's biological age is not one's psychological age. So I can be 94 biologically, and I can be 70 or 65 psychologically. And that's how I feel. Now, a few hours ago, I was honored in another location, particularly in Indonesia. And the event was, again, my birthday, but it was also to celebrate the second opening, not the first opening, but the second opening of a museum. And it's called the Museum of Marketing, and it is in Jakarta. And it was originally in Ubud, Bali, but we moved it to Jakarta. And any of you who get to Jakarta, you might want to make sure that you see the Museum of Marketing. Now, many questions arise in discussions about marketing. For example, what is the future of marketing? Is it going to be the same as the past? Or is it going to be quite different? And another question is, will the core ideas of customer-oriented marketing change? Are we going to give up on some of the core ideas? Will we move from mass marketing to segment marketing, and maybe even move to one-on-one marketing. The fact is that today we have the tools to even do one-on-one marketing. You have to collect a lot of data about individuals' behaviors, and you have to use a tool called machine learning, and all of that will help if you wanted to just work hard on getting one particular person to buy your product who could use it. If a person can't use your product at all, don't even work on trying to market it. But if a person is going to be the target, then we have so many new tools that will help create a compelling, personalized message that will probably get a sale from that person. Now, in Sri Lanka, and I visited Sri Lanka twice, and I always found it to be a pearl, a beautiful place with sun and beautiful landscapes and nature and so on. And I know that most of the firms in your country are small and medium size. That's true of most countries, if not all countries. I mean, we often spend too much time talking about how Coca-Cola markets. And then I get the question, well, we're not Coca-Cola, we're small. But most of the firms are small, so how do you teach marketing to smaller businesses, because they must survive. Most of the people who have jobs in the country depend on small firms doing a good job of feeding the nation and clothing the nation and warming up the nation. Now, here's the thing. I don't think there's going to be any major change in the core ideas of marketing. In other words, marketing is a customer-centered discipline aiming to make lives happier and better. So at the same time, new tools come into being that might make a difference. And one of those, for example, digitalization has been so important, and every company should be running its processes on a digital basis. But along with the digital revolution is the AI revolution. And AI is going to be a big change maker in marketing, a scary change maker. Why? Because it can be used to develop marketing messages and marketing plans so much faster that you don't need as many people doing copy editing and preparing all kinds of marketing steps. If you're going to be able to take a lot of your data and take it out of a physical file and put it on your screen and make it possible to learn anything you want about the market you're aiming to serve on your physical computer screen, if you can do that, and then make up your message, use AI to create the work that you need to do in marketing, that's going to be for the good. It has a dark side. The dark side is that maybe we won't need as many people doing marketing if each one who does marketing can do it quicker and faster with the use of AI. But the main thing I want to emphasize is that every small and medium-sized company also must learn the fundamentals of AI if they're going to survive as a firm. Now, the other thing that continues to be important is to learn how to build a strong brand. Because a strong brand takes time to build, and everyone's going to be a brand anyways. Just to have a name for your company is the first step in branding. But if you have a product line, you're going to try to give it a brand name, and you may have 2 or 3 product lines, and branding is important. But the content of branding isn't enough. Good branding has a good message and content. You need influencers. And we're discovering that sometimes doing better work with finding influencers is more important than the brand content. See, if the brand content comes to us every minute, the whole day is filled with ads and mentions of companies and what they make. And yet we don't pay attention to most of it because we have other things to do. But we do pay attention when there's an influencer who says how much they love that product. And we are now moving to a stage where we're not trying to fake influencers. Please don't think you're going to get away with using some celebrity who really doesn't even know the product to represent the product. You want someone who genuinely has used the product and wants to talk about it, is an advocate, a fan of the product. And those fans are your hope to get attention, because just flashing your brand around with some advertising doesn't mean anyone's going to notice it that much. We're wondering about maybe a tiredness occurring in the watching of TV and radio and print, and we have to find new ways to draw attention to the brand that we love and believe would help other people. Now, I don't want to say much more. If any of you have a question or two to ask, I'd be happy to say what I know about it. I'll stop now talking now and just say that I am grateful that you have a gathering to celebrate the National Marketing Day in connection possibly with my birthday too. So any questions that I can answer briefly for you?
Professor, thank you so much for connecting with us. We have an audience here, and also we have professors from leading universities here, and also we have undergraduates connected online. We played a special tribute video for you before you joined, and we're going to play it for you again.
Name that echoes across boardrooms and classrooms alike, celebrated globally as a father of modern marketing. Born on 27 May 1931, Professor Kotler began a journey that would redefine the world of marketing forever. He was the eldest of 3 sons, born to Betty and Maurice Kotler, a humble beginning that laid the foundation for a remarkable legacy. He studied at DePaul University for 2 years before being accepted without a bachelor's degree into the master's program at the University of Chicago in 1953. He went on to earn his PhD in economics at MIT in 1956. Recognized as one of the world's foremost marketing thinkers, he has received honorary degrees from 22 universities, including Stockholm University, the University of Zurich, Athens University of Economics, and his alma mater, DePaul University. He is the author of over 150 articles and 90 books, including Principles of Marketing, Marketing for Hospitality and Tourism, Confronting Capitalism, Democracy in Decline, and Advancing the Common Good. His research covers strategic marketing, consumer marketing, business marketing, professional services marketing, and e-marketing. He has consulted for global giants like IBM, General Electric, AT&T, Bank of America, Merck, Motorola, and Ford. He has lectured in over 30 countries, including Italy, Sweden, China, Japan, India, Indonesia, Australia, Mexico, Brazil, and Chile. Professor Kotler visited Sri Lanka in 2012 with his dear friend Dr. Fahim. Both hold a deep fondness for Sri Lanka and its people. Professor Philip Kotler, you have enlightened millions of marketing enthusiasts around the world. Everyone has fallen in love with your wisdom and your knowledge, and that love only continues to grow. Your contribution to the marketing fraternity is immense. You've made many lives easier through your timeless book, Principles of Marketing, a must read. Your 94th birthday is a celebration for everyone. In your honor, we are proud to declare a National Marketing Day in Sri Lanka to commemorate your contribution. We are also showing our true tribute by launching the Sri Lankan edition of the sensational Essentials of Modern Marketing this year. Dear Professor Kotler, you are a true star, shining above the world, a guiding light in the realm of marketing. We wish you a very, very, very happy birthday, a wonderful 94th birthday. All the best.
Thank you very much. That was alone shows the skills that you have in Sri Lanka to produce such a nice piece of information and communication. Clearly, I also saw the print ad about the event, and again, another sign of the skill set that's very high in Sri Lanka to generate wonderful messages and so on. I don't know if I'll get a chance to meet any of you again. Certainly, I'm not happy to travel very long distances, but we're staying in touch in another way, and the way we stay in touch is to read each other's writings. And I've been very busy doing that. I came out recently with a book called Entrepreneurial Marketing, which has to do with a model that we created. We think it's the most comprehensive model of marketing decision making. It's called the Omni House model, and it's on just page 3, basically. And once you understand that model, it requires you to tie together all the elements that make an excellent marketing plan. I also enjoy writing about other things, and the most recent book I put out is called Wicked Problems. And wicked problems exist. For example, the problem of corruption, the problem of hate, the problem of hurting the environment, and not paying attention to climate problems. So we have in the book called Wicked Problems the methodologies for attacking such wicked problems. And one of the most wicked problems that just began to take place is the tariff problem. Tariffs are a stupid thing to do. And I apologize very much that we are in the hands of a president who is trying to make everyone pay to make the United States richer at their own expense. And I am so against what he is doing that we're all trying to build an opposition that's strong enough to dethrone him where he belongs, not to run a country, but behind jail. So that's a wicked problem that we're trying to work out. In any case, I would say that things will get better. They're going to get worse, but they're going to be ultimately better because the world wants to have first peace and then prosperity and then more health and wellness and education. The fundamentals, when you make your investments as a country, is in good education and good health care and good housing. And then you have a good society. And that's what marketing should care about. Marketing shouldn't be all about just getting you to drink more Coca-Cola. It's about making your lives richer and better. Carry that message and love your customers. They are maybe your family, your friends, your potential friends. Serve them well, make their lives better. We find more that often that giving is the best way to be good at getting. When you give, you get back. So, and then one more thing, I always feel that the basic idea in marketing is that of exchange. And what exchange must do is make both sides win. It's win-win. If you play the game win-lose, where you're going to win and someone else loses, every game of win-lose ends up to be a game of lose-lose where both lose. So be high-minded in your marketing, and that will bring the respect for marketing that we are looking for. Thank you very much. It's Chicago time, which is about almost 12 o'clock. And I've enjoyed this wonderful occasion where you dramatized an event that everyone has in their life, a birthday. And I appreciate the attention you gave me. Goodbye, and thank you
Thank you,
again.
Professor. Goodbye. All the best and
Bye.
long life. Ivan.
Thank you. Bye.
I think so. Getting back from what Professor Philip Kotler said, and so it's lucky to have that he's coming on live. I think that's the timely coincidence that you are talking about Kotler's impact. Would you like to further elaborate?
Yeah,
on?
because I think Professor Javikram was saying how Kotler's extractions came into A-level syllabus. So when I heard about certain definitions during A-level's time, I thought I should do marketing for my BSc. And then I ended up being at Javadanapura. And then I started working. So I was trying to put things in practice. We've done certain local work, taking concepts from Kotler's to various other things. But then I got into lecturing for CIM, SLIM, and then MBA. So that's how the conduit happened. So I figured the concepts and contextual differences both matter in everything. So I think that's what the problem was, how I became a conduit. And then it's all about bridging. I think at PIM, Professor Ajant Damasiri once wanted to bridge these two by bringing PIMAC research forum. So we did that at PIM. So this was happening. But always when I was in lecturing, part-time lecturing, I've never had a weekend free until up to the age that I got married. So I had lectures every day, Saturday, Sunday both. And what I enjoyed the most was to give a local example of a local brand into one of the concepts in those books. So the point that once I got married, I wanted to launch a book. Then it didn't happen, it just getting delayed. And then I got the opportunity to interact with Professor Nalin Abesekar, and then we were talking of what we can do. So that's how this idea came up, and he said, Denzel, please write to Professor Kotler. That's why I wrote to him. And then he replied, and then we were in touch. So that's how it all happened. That's how it started. So what we want to do is basically not just, I mean, like he said, good education, good health, and housing. Those are three things which matter. And any government can run this country if they can give those three without any interruption. It's very, very simple. So what we need to do is basically to go beyond and to make sure that we make a hub in this region where people can come here to learn about marketing and also to put things into practice. We have so many resources that we are not made use of. I think that's the whole idea behind all this forum. And this beginning, I pray that this will be a platform for everyone to come, connect, join, and experience and enjoy. Thank you.
Wonderful. I think with that, even though I have planned originally for going for a couple of rounds, so let me take this as a final round. with the interest of time, now Professor Nalin, so I will follow the same order. Now we have launched, we saw that Professor Kotler's ideas and the concept, the whole thing behind this particular event. But what is the way forward? Like how to take it forward? Yeah, very briefly, would like to.
Yeah, I think I will take only 1 to 2 minutes max. The way forward, now we can see now the bridging the academia and the industry.
Bit close.
And at the moment we can see the academia and the industry, they are having a collaboration today itself. This can be considered as one of the very important initiation. Even Samantha, what we can do now, the PIM, Javadanapura, Open, Kalaniya and all whatever the universities, we can have a kind of a consortium sort of a thing. Ultimately it will enrich the marketing education. Not only the universities, the industry perspective really important. So this can be considered as one of the triggering point where we can have a kind of a discussions and all, can establish a kind of a entity which should have a kind of a noble perspective, objective and all by looking at the growth of the country. Because still we branded as like the developing country, we have to move forward. So that might be the expectation.
Right. So in your speech also you have mentioned about purpose driven. So you want to get that into a next level. Right. Wonderful. Professor Dushan, now you have clearly articulated the elaboration in the first round. But here the Professor Kotler also mentioned is the central argument is the market is all about customer sensitivity to bring the happiness to life, larger societal happiness. And Professor, I engaging in one case study where he's mentioned we used to use this word tame problems and wicked problems, isn't it? Now he is now writing on that. How these principles of marketing, what you see from there to future, like impact into like your say learning education, at the same time real application of those principles of marketing in your understanding.
Now, when you are to sort of look at the area you mentioned, I think with something like marketing, it's very hard to sort of divide between the theory and the practice. They are complementary in nature. They inform each other. So therefore, this divide, if you look at it as a divide, it might not happen. Now today, this forum has become so beautiful and enriching and something that we can look forward to, because we see the theory and the practice, the combination, the unite. And as I mentioned before, Dr. Asangarana Singh, having worked in the corporate sector, leading organizations for 30 plus years, is now looking at the same practice from an academic point of view. That is how this practice, field of marketing should be enriched and enhanced. Now, to do that, of course, with something like maybe Professor Udita Liyanaga's postmodern consumer, that argument is something that would enrich the Kotler's understanding and the practice, what he prescribed as practice in the Sri Lankan context. That is how this needs to go. Now, if you look at, again, Kotler's conceptualization of marketing and how it kind of connects to other sub-disciplines of marketing. Now, if you look at consumer behavior, the sort of world-famous consumer behavior author is Schiffman and Kanuk. Schiffman and Kanuk's consumer behavior, some complete summation of the book is well aligned with Kotler's marketing management. If you look at branding, the sort of author in branding, Keller, is also aligned with Kotler's argument of marketing. And if you look at international marketing, Warren J. Keegan is considered to be a leading author in international marketing. His entire sort of conceptualization of international marketing comes with Kotler's marketing. So therefore, what I'm trying to get to at is Kotler's understanding and the presentations of principles of marketing informs the rest of theoretical and applied disciplines of marketing. It keeps evolving. And we need to keep our eyes open so that we can engage with the discussion continuously.
Wonderful. I think that's a very comprehensive answer. With that, Mr. Densil, the last question, the final thing. Now, with this, you're talking about this coming out with a book among other, quite a range of books published by the Kotler, like Professor Kotler. And what is this all about? What is the new thing about
So basically, I think it's not something new to Sri Lanka because there have been 6 representatives appointed prior to me to carry out this task. So yesterday I got a call from the CEO of the particular institute asking how we did it. I think it's more than anything else, it's the passion that we have for marketing, and also the idea is to disseminate knowledge in a more meaningful manner, in a way that is palatable to our future marketers. So with that, we are going to launch. It's been given to 25 countries, by the way. So we are one of them. We are going to launch it with local case studies. A lot of the brands, presenters who are going to come here today during the day will elaborate on some of those brands that we have chosen. And that launch will happen towards June, or July, August, and then we'll take it from there to cater to more things that we can do with Kotler and Kotler Institute in Sri Lanka and Maldives. Thank you.
So shall we give a round of applause to the 3 panelists? But I know Dr. Babur Singh, you want to ask a question, like probably one question, like.
Actually, first one is actually Professor Nalina Beresekar also mentioned that area, and also Professor Kotler was talking about. Now, today the need of the hour is go-to-market strategy at a regional level for entrepreneurship. So I would like to have your views of the erudite panel here to their thoughts of that, because I think that's going to be a game changer for Sri Lanka. Looking at the go-to-market strategy for regional level, because we need to initially start with there and to take national, then to think about global. That's my first question. Second is a quick one. I think Densil, you mentioned about Essential of Modern Marketing. I have that book. It's being written in India with Indian scholars. Are you going to do a book of same for Sri Lanka, or is it the same book that you're talking?
Doctor, yeah. So basically, we have chosen panel, and the case studies that we found here will basically be scrutinized by them, and then we send it to another panel there, and then only it will get published.
I see.
Indian book, actually, I'm not criticizing the country, but that output is not so great, and we are not so happy about it.
Last paragraphs are not that great.
Yeah, so we are benchmarking England, Polish edition likewise, which are more rich in content. We are benchmarking those. And to answer the question, I don't know, Professor Abesekar might have a different answer, but entrepreneurship, like he said in his speech, entrepreneurial branding, it's true that Dr. Asanga Ranasinghe was mentioning about this branding in the multinational level, which is a set thing, which is quite a costly affair. But in today's context with the AI and also digital marketing coming into place, more and more entrepreneurial approaches are coming out very strongly, and for that reason, more brands can actually reach out to more countries, and we are practicing certain things as consultants, advisors, and also I'll mention this and finish it off. My speech at the World Marketing Summit was on AI and marketing. So actually showed the world how a man who's just living in a country like this can do a small advertisement all by myself in my own language with all my feelings in very emotional way, and that's how I started my speech instead of going by ChatGPT's slides on AI and marketing. So yeah, so we have got a brilliant opportunity because we didn't have these assets and resources to do this before, but now with the social media platforms and AI, we get a level playing ground, so we can do wonders. Like you said, first regions and then the whole world. Thank you.
Yeah, just 20 to 30 seconds, Dr. Ravi. Yeah, like sometimes we go to the forums. Most of the entrepreneurs come in and they don't like to talk because we talk in English. The creativity and all comes with the mother tongue. It has been established in UNESCO and all. The Tamil and Sinhala orientation might be one of the perspective we need to think of. We have to socialize the subject of marketing in say like mother tongue. That also might be one of the perspective. We can have a kind of a different discussion. Thank you.
I think one last point from my understanding of the adaptation. I think for many, many more years to come, Kotler's core argument of what is marketing will remain unchanged. That is creation of value, which requires understanding of value and proper delivery of value. But what needs to happen is, even at the small or medium sectors in organizations, we need to build the confidence in them so that they will find their own way, own mechanism to identify how to develop and deliver the value. For example, if you read the story of lentils, one of the sort of social enterprise model practiced by one of the Australian business organizations owned by Sri Lankan, it's no more there, but their concept was pay as you go. That was basically, rather than the customer seeing the bill, or sorry, the menu card with the price at the entry, you let the customer decide how much they wanted to pay, how much they think the food was worth. So it's a very different conceptualization of the practice. But the fundamental, the core of value creation and delivery remain unchanged. So we need to bring that confidence of the small scale or medium scale sector to practice this Western dominant, American dominant marketing practice, so that we will have better sector with proper understanding and practice of marketing.
So, thank you all. As we conclude this dynamic and interesting discussion, it is my privilege to express our heartfelt gratitude to the individual whose guidance has steered our conversations and elevated our collective understanding.